Okay. Do not be confused since research is also an investigation and inquiry is also an investigation. The basic difference is that, sorry, using the word or looking at the word inquire, okay? From the word inquire, inquiry, we investigate through questioning or through probing by questioning, okay? We want to look for answers and find answers to a certain question or a certain problem through the process of asking questions or inquiring. That's why it's called inquiry from the word inquire. Okay, pero investigation gyapon ni siya. So since investigation si research and investigation si inquiry, unsay difference nila? Research is a scientific, experimental, and inductive manner of thinking. Okay, and it starts from a particular to a more complex idea, starts with a lower to higher order thinking strategies reflected by these activities. Sorry, identifying the topic or problem, gathering data, making theories, formulating hypotheses, analyzing data, and drawing conclusion. Okay, please excuse me for a while. Right, sorry for that advertisement. Okay, so research and inquiry are both investigation. The basic difference is that inquiry is limited to questions. Okay, limited to asking questions, limited only to questions. Okay, while research is a process, scientific, experimental, and inductive manner of thinking, and is reflected through the following activities: identifying the problem, gathering data, making theories, formulating hypotheses, analyzing, and drawing conclusions. Let's look at this thing. Although the core word for both inquiry and research is investigation or questioning, which is quite confusing to us. Inquiry is questioning and investigation. Research is questioning also and investigation. Unsa man gid ni sir? Unsa man gid sa parehara ni sila o dili? It says they are not exactly the same, which means they have similarities, but they are not the same. It says in all aspects. Research involves a more complex set of procedures, while inquiry is just a part of research and it's a basic step. Okay. This inquiry is stirred by our curiosity, which is the basic step in research. Inquiry is a basic step in research and is basically limited to questioning, while research is a procedure. Research is a process. Okay? Inquiry, inquire, asking questions, finding answers through probing. Okay? While research is investigating also and looking for answers by conducting and following sets of procedures. That's the basic difference. All right, let's try to focus on the definition and characteristics of research. Research is defined as an investigation done, I'm sorry, in a systematic manner to reveal a particular truth about a topic, phenomenon, or reality. So, this definition will be analyzed by us, of course. By the way, when we say analyze, we break the parts of something, or we break something into parts and study closely each parts that are being broken down. For example, research is defined as an investigation. So atong ibuak-buakon ning definition ni research para sabtan ginato unsa ni si research. So by this definition, we are given this uh, main parts of the definition. Research as an investigation and follows a systematic process. It reveals truth and it is about a particular topic, phenomenon, or reality. So ato nang na-break down unsa si research. Now, let's try to look into the details of these parts of the definition. First, research as investigation. It involves inquiry, o nanasad sa inquiry, which means as inquiry is the basic step in the conduct of research. Okay, inquiry is involved in uh, researching, okay, and looking deeper into a topic. It is an activity that involves discovering truths, facts, or aspects of reality. So, We investigate uh, in research. But it's not only limited to asking questions because, again, research is a process while inquiry or inquiring is asking questions. Next stop, systematic. Research is systematic. Ngano na ingon mo kag systematic, sir? When we say systematic, there is logic, okay? Discipline, there's a procedure that is going about it. Okay, systematic, meaning na ay system nga gi-follow. Na ay mga processes, na ay mga procedures that need to be followed step by step. Para parehas, for example, sa ato ang unsa bay familiar sa ato ang kaayo nga system sa ato ang lawas. We have the skeletal system, we have the circulatory system, we have the nervous system. Okay, for example, sorry, sorry. For example, the nervous system. Uh, sa nervous system na atay mga gitawag nga mga nerve impulses, tas kani mga nerve impulses, uh, naatay mga stimulus mo dampi sa to, for example sa skin, o kung ako ang dapion ang imo ang panit na ang mga nerve impulses mo dagay na siya dito gikan sa imo mga receptors paingon dito sa imo ang brain, and then the brain would send back send back sa tawag ana the nerve signals para sa imong reaction. Pagdapi sa imo, agay sakit. O di ba? Nakabati di ka nga sakit di ay. So system because gi-follow gyud nga procedure na i-process. So maski si system na to si nervous system nag-follow gyapon siya og step, dili man pwede nga makahuna-huna kadaan nga sakit wala pa kagidapi, wa ka kabalo nga gidapi ka. Diingon na kag agay, wa pa kay gidapi. Wa ka kabalo nga gibunalan dai kaningon na kag agay. So dili na siya mo, meaning naagi standard nga process nga gakahitabo. That's why it's called systematic. Research is systematic because it follows a standard procedure. And this procedure entails, first is the developing of research question, sorry, reviewing related literature and references about a particular topic that you have chosen. We collect the data or the collection of the data and the analysis of them to form conclusions and address the questions. Diba? Nagsugod gid siya sa pag-develop sa research questions. Meaning, nag-identify ka sa problem. And then the last part is the creation of conclusion. Para the conclusion would be used to address the questions. For a while, somebody sent a message. I don't. I'm so sorry, but I don't usually do recordings. Uh, I hope that you understand because I would want everybody to be present in our everyday lesson, and the recording might be or might sound just an excuse for other people to be absent. While I understand, some of us have slower connections, just like you know mine as well. Pero ako yung galikayan is that mo absent si student, maghimo-himo og excuse, well, naa may recording. Ano, so, I would want everybody to be present every day. That is why I do not usually do recordings. I hope that you understand that. Okay?
Okay. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, you're welcome. Now, let's continue. Again, systematic because it follows a procedure. So, kung nabantayan ninyo, no, gidiscuss atong PR1 sa una ang research paradigm. Kanumdum pa ba mo sa research paradigm? Katong naay mura og makita nato ang structure sa research. We have chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5. Okay. Because it follows a procedure and it has a standard nga structure. Okay, nga dili nato dapat labyan, meaning magsugod kita ani daan before ta molagpot sa second ka part. That's why research is systematic. Yes, yes, miss. Let me read the name. Uh, Laisha. I'm sorry, how do you read your name? Laisha?
Layasha, sir.
Layesha. Okay, Miss Layesha, I will be posting a PDF format of this presentation. Okay, para when you try to access and download it, dili siya bugat sa ato ang mga uh, device, especially katong nagamit og cellphone. Alright. Alright. You're welcome. Okay, next. Research reveals truth. Okay. The aim of research is to unearth. When we say unearth, reveal, unconceal. So meaning mura ba og kanang treasure box nga gilubong sa earth, gilubong sa yuta, so kaluto na siya para ma-unearth. Di ba mo na ang aim sa research to unearth facts, insight, or realization about our reality. Okay? Take note of the word facts. So facts lang ang atong i-reveal sa research. Okay? And then next is, it is about a topic, phenomenon, or reality. This is very, I believe this is crucial, though this is very simple, no, as part of the definition of research, because I consider it crucial because ang mga namong giuban nga mag-research, tas ang ilang mga literature reviews layo ra kaayo sa ilang topic. Alright, research involves around a particular area of interest. This focal area narrows down the attention of our inquiry, allowing us to follow feasible steps to find out more about it. Which means we only focus on one specific area of interest or one specific topic. When your topic is the phytochemical analysis of banana leaves, then focus on the things that pertain to banana leaves. Okay? Dili na ta mo ato sa salability of banana Q. Okay? Lalain ito siya nga topic. Okay? So focus on one topic. Again, research is an investigation. Research is systematic. It's systematic because it follows steps and it reveals truth once the steps are properly or correctly done or followed. And then this revolves around a particular area of interest. All right. So to be a researcher means to be a scientist. Since you are researchers, you also are a scientist. So how do researchers and scientists actually think? As a researcher and as a scientist, you must think in a logical and systematic manner, just like research. Okay, we follow certain order. It's either inductively or deductively thinking. Okay, which means when we say logical, everything has to be connected. Okay, naay logic ba? Naay kanang sa tawag gani, naay underlying nga kaning mga facts. Good. When we think, we have to be basing on facts. Okay, we have to be objective and not too opinionated. Well, we are sometimes opinionated ra pagi kaita, pero sa research everything has to be anchored on facts. Okay, anchored on facts. Okay, dili sa mga fake news. Diba? You have to be logical at all times. All right. Let's go to the definition of quantitative research, which would greatly help us when we talk about how different this is from uh, qualitative research. Expressions like numerical forms, objective thinking, statistical methods, and measurement signal the existence of quantitative research. Kung ang ato ganing research, ang ato mga data are expressed in numbers, magamit na ganitag mga numbers and statistics, frequency and percentage, mean, median, and mode, standard deviation, sa pa na sila ng mga statistics, that's quantitative research. Okay, magamit na ganitag mga measurements like scales, quantitative research na siya. Right. One word that reflects the true nature of type of research is numerical. Again, because the data are being expressed in numbers. The data collected are expressed in numbers and transmuted to numbers para uh, answer sa major or general problem na to, pwede ta makagamit og for example mga statistical techniques, statistical methods, and so on and so forth. Again, as far as numerical or numbers are expressed or involved in the expression or involved in the expression of data, then that's quantitative research. Let's talk about the classification. There are two kinds of research. We have the experimental and non-experimental. Okay, in experimental research, we have true experimental, quasi-experimental, single subject, and pre-experimental. So, and then sa non-experimental, survey, historical, observational, correlational, descriptive, and comparative research. Okay, balik na sa experimental, which I advise everybody in the class to focus on this type of research. Okay? Experimental lang ta kay for example, if we are going to fulfill or accomplish our performance task worksheet, tapos ang ato ang gamiton kay katong ato ang qualitative last semester nga topic, dili na siya quanti. Labi kay quanti man ta, kay PR2 man ta, ang PR1 kay quali man to. So, I do not say that you disregard, just set that aside. I-set aside na to atong topic last semester and let us focus on quantitative research. Okay? And uh, I would prefer that we focus on experimental researches and true experimental to be precise. Sir, unsa ni si true experimental? Si true experimental mao ni siyang katong uh, mag-experiment kita using laboratory apparatuses or laboratory. Okay, depende na siya sa akuan accent. Anyway, magamit nga ita mga laboratory apparatus, mag-experiment na ganita, mag-investigatory project na ganita, that's true experimental. Okay? Maghimo na ganita og himuon na gani natong fertilizer si kuan, himuon na natong fertilizer si fish scales, then that's true experimental. Okay, nagkuan kita nagkuan kita sa ni convert kita. Okay, that's true experimental. Quasi-experimental kaning mga experimental researches pero dili nag-involve og laboratory experiments or unsa pa na siya nga mga tests. Okay? Example, sa experimental pero quasi, muna siya gitaw si quasi murag half or uh, murag experimental. Okay, murag true experimental pero dili siya true experimental. Example sa quasi experimental, nag-create ko og new nga teaching strategy. Wala pa'y nakabalo unsa ni. I-experiment sa ako kung effective ba siya. Okay? So that's quasi-experimental. Kay mga teaching strategies, mga sa mga social sciences, kaya nga mga experimental researches, that is quasi-experimental. Pero kung mga science nga mga researches, that's true experimental. Okay? Gusto na ko i-test kung effective ba ang ako ang nahimo nga lotion, kung makaputi ba gid siya within 2 seconds. Okay, that's true experimental. Okay, sa science naman gid siya nakuan. Sa life science naman gid siya na belong. Okay, let's skip the single subject and pre-experimental to avoid information overload. Okay, the non-experimental survey, historical, observational, correlational, descriptive, and comparative research. Most common examples of non-experimental but quantitative researches are these correlational. These also use correlational descriptive. Gigamit gyapon ni sila og mga statistics and numbers. That's why they belong to the quantitative. Pero they are not experimental kay wala magig-experiment. For example, gusto lang nako mahibaw-an ang correlation ni mathematics performance o ni English proficiency level. Meaning, gusto na ko mahibalo kung naabay relationship si ka-bright sa English o ka-bright sa mathematics. Kung maayo ba sa English, bright pa po sa math. Kung maayo sa math, bright pa po sa English. So wala man ko na-experiment. Gusto na akong hibawan kung naabas sila yung relationship. That's correlational and that's not experimental. Descriptive, for example, I want to determine or gusto na ako i-identify kung unsa ang mathematics performance ni grade 11 STEM 6. Nakita na ako dito nga outstanding day sila. O descriptive, ga-describe ra ko based on the data that I have gathered and data that I have processed through my own tests. Okay? Gigawas dadto nga, uy, excellent man ning or outstanding man ning grade 11. Overall. Outstanding man ang grade 11, STEM 6, pag-abot sa mathematics performance. So that's descriptive from the term itself. describe. From the term itself, describe. That's why it's descriptive. Okay. I-describe lang nimo ang level. That's why they are not experimental. Okay, it's basically just describing, just looking into the relationship, cause and effect relationship. So, mo na sila mga non-experimental researches. Of importance of quantitative research, let's focus on importance of quantitative research in STEM, science, technology, in experimental researches. Ganun importante man si quantitative research, sir, sa atong mga life science, kaning mga tambal, they are product of experimental researches. True experimental and experimental is quantitative. Di ba? Kani atong vaccine, they are product of, vaccines are products of quantitative research. Okay? Nag-agi gina sila og mga, sorry, experiments. Right? I'm sorry for that advertisement. Okay, what else? Kaning mga vaccine sa COVID-19, kaning tambal or mga kaning chemotherapy. They are product of quantitative research. Kaning kuryente na to, that's still product of quantitative research. Electric fan, kaning atong mga gadgets. Okay, they are products of quantitative research. See how inseparable research is from our lives. Whatever path we are going to take, whatever the career path or whatever the career we're going to choose, research is inseparably connected and intertwined to our lives. All right? So that's why important si quantitative research sa ato alang daan nga discipline. Kaning atong gigamit nga gadgets, kaning mga solar panels, kaning tanan nga to natong makita nga technology, they're products of quantitative research as well. Okay, tambal, they're product of quantitative research. Kung walay tambal, dili ta makabalo, say tambal sa labad sa ulo, nga dali ra ta maulian. Okay. Turo bang naibawan sa una kay magpasingot. Kay para magawa sa singot, muwalang labad sa ulo. Di ay naa di tambal. These medicines are products of quantitative research. Right, before we jump to the next topic, do you have concerns, questions, queries, any violent reactions, or whatever that we might be able to clarify before we jump into the next topic? All right, according to your classmates, wala na. Okay, let's go. Right, variables and attributes. Basically, this talks about the variables and just try to differentiate variables and attributes. But on the topic is actually variables. So what are variables, sir? Variables are variables are any characteristics that can have different values or traits that may vary across research participants and measured, controlled, and manipulated by the researcher. So variables are the focus of your study. Focus of your study. Kung gusto ko mahibaw-an ang relationship between mathematics performance and English performance sa grade 11 STEM 6, kinsay akong gi-focus sa grade 11 STEM 6. What aspect of grade 11 STEM 6 am I going to study? And those aspects are the variables in your study. So by saying that, tas ang ako ang title is uh, English proficiency level and mathematics performance of grade 11 STEM 6. So the variables are English proficiency level and mathematics performance because these are the aspects of the grade 11 STEM 6 that I want to study. So they are the variables. Another example, age, gender, height, and weight. Ganong nahimo man ni silang examples of variables, sir? What if di ay kung gusto na ako mahibaw-an kung gusto na ako i-correlate si gender and mathematics performance? Gusto na ako mahibaw-an kung Kinsay mas bright ba si lalaki sa math or mas bright ang mga babae pag-abot sa mathematics? So, uh, gender and mathematics performance or the relationship between gender and mathematics performance of grade 11 STEM 6. Kinsay akong gistudihan the grade 11 STEM 6. What aspects of grade 11 STEM 6? The gender and the mathematics performance. So they are the variables of the study. Now let's talk about attributes. Unsa man si attributes pud sir? Gadugang-dugang ra man sa among una-una Okay. Attributes are the important elements of the variables and the value assigned to a specific variable. So, si variables, dili nato siya ma-compare actually kang I see attributes, dili nato siya ma-compare kang variables. Why? Because si attributes element lang siya ni variable. Okay? Variable sa ibabaw and attributes sa ubos because si attributes element lang siya and the value assigned to a specific variable. If I were to choose gender as a variable of my study, then the attributes would be male and female. Okay? The attributes would be male and female. Kung ang variable is age, then ang akong attribute is 15 years old to 20 years old, 21 to 25, 26 to 30 years old. Muna siya ang attribute sa ako ang age as chosen variable of the study. Alright, I hope that's clear. Variables are the focus of your study, and the attributes are the elements of your variables, and sometimes the value assigned to a specific variable. Next, let's go to the characteristics of variables. There are three: dependence, mutually exclusive, and exhaustive. Hi, on so many sir, sa dependence, mutually exclusive, ug exhaustive. Let's talk about independence first. Independence, I dependence, sorry. Dependence talks about how the variable is considered uh, in a cause and effect relationship. Let's not confuse ourselves with the dissecting of the definition. Ato na ta sa example diretso or sa parts sa dependence. Kung ang atong variable, atong study gani, na ay dependent o independent variables, then we are making use of dependence as characteristics of research. Okay, dependence. Okay, dependence man so na independent o may dependent variables. Independent variables are the characteristics that are changed, manipulated, and selected by the researcher. Dependent variable are those that change because of the changes to the independent variable. Kalibog ba ni sir? You're trying to, are you trying to confuse us, sir, with your definition? Let's try to look at this example. Okay. Let's try to identify the variables in this study. In a study that investigates the use of computer-aided instruction uh, on student performance, we have here the independent variable is the teaching instruction and the dependent variable is the student's performance. So nganong nahimo mang independent si teaching instruction sir og na dependency variables? Nganong independent siya kay siya ang makaapekto. And si dependent variable siya ang maapektuhan. In the study, kung gusto to mahibaw-an kung naabay unsay effect ni computer-aided in teaching instruction kang student performance. So si teaching instruction ay independent. It's called independent because it stands on its own. Okay? And then, si dependent, dili siya ka-stand sa iyang own kay nakadepende siya sa changes ni independent variable. Okay, it's called teaching instruction is independent and then kay siya ang cause, siya ang moapekto ni student's performance. So how can you say that the student's performance is being affected by the teaching instruction? Daw bi kung ang akong gamiton nga instruction kay traditional, di ba? Magsulata ra kita sa blackboard, pareha atong mga experiences na ambot. I do not know if you experienced this during your elementary years, pero experience na mo sa una, sige rin sulata sa blackboard, mag-copy ra. Okay, mo-affect ba na siya sa student's performance? So, na-changes akong teaching instruction. Sorry. Either it's computer-aided or traditional. then how would that affect the student's performance? Mutaas ba ang grado ni students kung mogamit ko og computer-aided instruction? Or mubaba siya kung mogamit ko og traditional? So, ana na siya. Okay? So, the variables in the study. So, ang atong focus, ani, si students. What aspects sa students ang atong gi-focus? Uh, the students' performance and how their performance is affected by the teaching instruction. Okay, let's try to look at this example. Okay, karon natin exercise. I-identify nato ang mga variables sa study. So first, variables lang sa atong identify. Dili lang sa nato pangitaon or i-determine si independent to dependent variable. Just look for the variables lang sa by looking into the topic or the title. So this is the title. Absorbance, concentration and phytochemical content of inner stem bark of duat, Syzygium cuminei, as determinant of antioxidant activity. So gusto na ko mahibaw-an kung determinant ba or factor ba sa antioxidant activity ni inner stem bark ni duhat or ni lumboy ang absorbance, concentration and phytochemical content niya. Okay. Again, by looking at the title, makita na si variables. Gusto na kong mahibawan kung si absorbance, concentration, phytochemical content, determinant ba siya sa antioxidant activity na kaya i-provide ni lumboy or ni duhat. Okay. Now, kinsay atong focus? Si duhat, si inner stem bark ni duhat. What aspects ni duhat ang ato ang studyhan? Okay. Now, let's try to identify the variables. Okay, variables lang sa. Unsa ang mga variables sa title, sa study?
Absorbance, sir.
Okay, Miss Tricia says absorbance. Okay, correct. Unsa pa?
Inner stem bark of duhat, sir.
Mm, you are closer, Miss Canibel. The inner stem bark of duhat is our focus. And what aspect of the inner stem bark of duhat is being studied?
Concentration, sir.
Okay, absorbance, concentration.
Physicochemical.
Okay, phytochemical content. Let's see if you are correct. You guys are correct. Okay. The aspect of the inner stem bark of duhat that we are studying is the absorbance and the concentration and the phytochemical content. So that's one of the variables of the study. Okay. Isa ra na sila na variable. Though daghan sila, pero they are considered one ra when we are to identify whether it's dependent or independent variable. And you guys are correct. Okay, we were able to identify the first variable. Isa ka variable. Unsa pa? Absorbance, concentration, and phytochemical content is one. Unsa pa?
Antioxidant activity, sir.
I'm sorry, what was that? I did not hear it clearly. What was that, Mr. Paul? I believe you have the same answer with Miss Lewis. Miss Lewis says the antioxidant activity. Let's see if. Okay, correct. So everybody is correct. So you see, by just looking at the title, ma-identify na nato ang variables sa study. So what actually is the trick in identifying the variables by just looking at the title? First, pangitao nato unsay gi-focus, unsay material nga gi-focus, unsay subject. Ang subject nato is the inner stem bark of lumboy or the duhat. What next question to consider? What aspect of the inner stem bark is being studied? Buto siya ang mga variables sa study. And your classmates were able to give the variables correctly. The first set of variables, absorbance, concentration, and the phytochemical content. The next variable is the antioxidant activity. Kay gusto mo ito mahibawan kung factor ba si absorbance, concentration, o content sa antioxidant activity. Now that you are able to identify the variables, let's try to identify uh, di koan. Let's try to identify the independent and the dependent variable. So between these two variables, which is the independent variable and which is the dependent variable?
The absorbance and concentration of electrical content, sir.
And that is the what variable?
Independent variable.
Okay, let's see if you are correct. And you are correct, Mr. Daniel. Okay, thank you so much. You are correct. The independent variable is the absorbance, concentration, and phytochemical content. Okay, Mr. Daniel, how did you know that it is the independent variable?
Kay siya man ang maka-affect sa kwan, sir, antioxidant activity, sir.
Okay, thank you so much. By saying that, you are also telling us that the antioxidant activity is the dependent variable. Thank you so much. You are correct. Ano nakaingon si Mr. Daniel nga kanang siya maka-apekto kay gusto mo to mahibaw-an. Gusto man nato mahibaw-an kung ah, si antioxidant activity naabay labot, naabay matabang si absorbance, concentration, and phytochemical content sa antioxidant activity nga kaya i-provide ni duhat. Okay, thank you so much. And you already are great in identifying the variables in the study as well as the dependent and the independent variable. So this is, or this topic pertains to the characteristics of variables, particularly dependence. Next characteristic is mutually exclusive. Participants or respondents cannot possess two attributes of a variable. Gender, for instance. Okay, gender, for instance. A person cannot be both a female or a male. And a male. It's either he is a male and then she is a female or she is a female. Right. Dili pwede nga, according then he, a person cannot be both a male or a female. Although, natay gitawag nga LGBTQ and our preference should be respected, pero the fact that, for example, si lalaki nga gusto niya i-identify himself as babae, the fact that he has a male reproductive organ, the fact remains that he is a male, though he wants himself to be identified as a female. Okay? Namatay giingon nga, lahi po si preference. Prefer niya nga female siya. Pero, the fact again that he has a male reproductive organ, so he is a male. And kung si female gusto niya identify himself as a male, the fact that she has a female reproductive organ, then she is a female. Though, lalaki siya lang taon, kay lalaki iyang gusto nga attribution sa iyang self. So that's why it's called mutually exclusive because in a variable, only one attribute can be possessed. Okay. Next is murang gitawag siya exclusive kay exclusive lagi siya sa one. Next is exhaustive. Exhaustive means there are a number of possible attributes or number of possible responses. Okay, of a certain variable. Age. Okay. 16 to 25, 25 to 35. So nga na, daghan ang possible nga mga options. Okay. Let's talk about the kinds of variables, and I believe this is the last part. Okay. Continuous variables are those that may have infinite number of values and may vary widely among research participants. Okay, infinite number of values. Example, age and weight. Okay, though we know the actual lifespan of a person, especially these days, 100 lang, taman, at most, naalay mo lapas gamay, pero age is actually infinite. Okay? Who knows who will live beyond 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. Okay? That's why it's called infinite. And the weight also. Because it cannot be predicted. Okay, next is discrete variables that have specific limits to their value. Could be income, number of children, and years of employment. Okay, although the years of employment, mura siya og kanang mura siya infinite, no? Okay, who knows kung kano sa kumuundang. Pero we have a kuan baya, we have a limit as to how old a person is before he or she retires. So mas dali nato ma-count or ma-predict ang number of years. Unlike sa age ug ang weight nga daw naatay idea on the limit of the lifespan, pero who knows again kung naa pa ba'y tao nga beyond ato nga mga ages. Okay. Categorical variables. Categorical variables from the term itself, category. These cannot be expressed in numbers. For example, civil status, educational attainment, okay, gender. You cannot say when you're asked about your sex or gender, then you say 5, 36. Dili na siya pwede. Kaya nga, no, categorical na siya. Kaya ang atong answer, male or female. Civil status is a categorical because when you're asked about your civil status, you let's say 1, 2, 3, 4. You say single, married, widowed, or separated, divorced, or whatever. And then we have educational attainment. You cannot say 1, 2, 3, 4, but you say high school graduate, college level, college graduate, or whatever. Okay. So those are the things that we are going to discuss this morning. Do you guys have questions? It's already 11:45, and this is the limit of the time given to us. You have questions? Anything that you would like to say? Concerns you want to ask?
Na ako, sir, na ako question, sir ba?
Yes. What is it, Miss Canibel?
Kato bitong example ganiya, sir, katong determinant of antioxidant activity.
Yes. Let's see. Let's go back to the presentation.
I was just wondering, sir, if kuan na siya, sir, example na siya sa true experiment na quantitative research.
Yes, it is an example of a true experimental because for us to identify first the absorbance concentration and phytochemical content, magkinahanglan ta ani mga laboratory apparatus. Okay. If we are to identify the phytochemical content, for instance, moagi taan yung mga infrared nga mga test. Kaning absorbance and concentration, moagi ta og mga DPPH, mga hydrogen peroxide, nga mga assay. Kay para mahibaw-an nato ang absorbance niya, concentration, and phytochemical content. And then by that, we will be able to know or determine na dayon if this could affect the antioxidant activity that the inner stem bark could provide. And then again, the answer is yes. Kay moagi ni sila og mga certain nga mga tests, mga infrared, DPPH, unsa pa na nga mga test, hydrogen peroxide assay. Okay?
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you so much for raising the question. Miss Lewis has a question, sir. Life science, di ba na siya, sir? Correct. This is under life science. Kaning mga ing-ani nga klase nga mga studies and mga projects, this is under life science. And katupong mga robotics like mga mag-involve na ganing og electricity, mga ing-ana, they belong under physical science, mga physics na to sila. And Miss Lewis is correct na belong sa life science ang kaning kuan, kaning nga study, absorbance, concentration, and phytochemical content. Anything else? So Miss Lewis has a follow-up question. So if ever lugar, sir, among quanti life science and it needs to be using a lab hypothetical na lugar na, sir, of a lab hypothetical. What do you mean by this, Miss Lewis? Can you give an elaboration of the question? I'm a little bit confused lang. What do you mean hypothetical? Like ano, sir? Example sa kanang example na research. I'm really sorry. From wala man me. Are you referring to our performance task? Okay. You are referring to our performance task. So this belongs, of course, for example, kaning example is life science. Pero dili man ta mag-conduct. So basically, mura lang ta og gahimo og proposal actually. Mura og naghimo lang ta sa first part pero dili ta mag-conduct sa study nato. Kay yes, that is correct. Narata sa atong balay. Okay? Pero since wala man tay answers pa sa ato mga questions kay di man ta mag-conduct. So uh, I'm not sure you say hypothetical because from the word hypothetical it says it's some sort of hypothesis testing may akong pagsabot sa hypothetical. So do you mean to say nga maybe the question of Miss Lewis is mura og managna ta sa kanang result? If I'm correct, Miss Lewis, is that your question? Mura og managna ta sa mga result? The question is no, we do not predict the result. Okay? Kaya di man kita mag-conduct, meaning buhaton lang na to ang first part. Title, uh, sa to atong mga pambuhaton, murag chapters 1 to 3 lang ba? Okay, chapters 1 to 3 lang kay di man ta mag-conduct. So, dili po ta managna kay wala man tay mahimo nga kuan nga study. Kay basically if we were to analyze the parts of our performance task worksheet, puro na to siya prior to the conduct. Okay? First part of the study prior to the conduct. And since dili man ta mag-conduct, so wala tay result nga tagnaon. And Mr. Daniel has a question. Sa fourth grading magpa-experiment, dili na ta mag-experiment kay dili man nato kuan. Dili man nato kaya ang mag-experiment ta. So kung face to face ni siya, probably mag-experiment ta pero kay naamo ta sa tong online, dili ta pwede magkita nang ato ang mga mga aparatos na sa school, dili man ta makaadtog school. So dili ta makag-experiment. Sayang no? Pero don't worry because sa grade 12 mag-experiment na mo. Dito na mo sa grade 12 ninyo i-pursue kung sa inyong gusto nga i-pursue nga mga studies. Okay. Last na. Na I group. Okay. As to the groupings, I'm still planning. Okay. Plan pa gid nako kay gitan-aw pa nako ang numbers on how many groups should there be in the class and how many members. Okay, ako pang gibansay-bansay, ako pang gitimbang kung pila dapat. Kay para dili ra kaayo daghan, dili ra pud kaayo gamay. Sakto lang kay kung daghan ra kaayo, there would be a greater possibility that some members would not work on helping the leader. Luin kay si leader, nagko na kay Ibags, mura nag si Telma. Okay? Dili ra pud kaayo gamay kay para daghan pud ang kuan manpower. So basically ang groupings ako pang gitimbang based on the total number of the students from your class. Okay? Okay, you're welcome and thank you for raising the question. Anything else? So while you guys are thinking, mag-announce lang ko nga I'll be sending you the PDF format of this presentation and you can access it via Google Classroom. And also, I will be sending you our first quiz via Google Forms. This is still accessible sa atong Google Classroom. And answer these quizzes today. That would be during our asynchronous in the afternoon. Okay, kay morning man tong synchronous and the afternoon is our asynchronous. Just make sure that you are going to finish or submit your quiz before the given time. Okay. Anyway, hatag magyapon tag consideration thinking of our inevitable what's this internet issues or connectivity issues. Okay. Anything else? If none, let's have our closing prayer.